Hello guys, in the previous video we have seen about HTML5 introduction, HTML commands and HTML empty tags. In this video we will learn about HTML tables, input types and forms. So I'll remove these codes and the syntax for the table is we have a table tag, open and close the table tag, and to have a row we have a tag called tr, and let's have two rows in the table, tr, and to define the table data which is also columns. In our case we will have two columns, so we will have two table data elements, so let me say this is t, and it costs some $10, and similarly copy this one, and let's say here is coffee and cost $20. So let's save it and we will refresh the page. So here we have a nice table, so we'll expand this to the entire width of the parent. We'll apply some style called with 100% of the parent container. So we expanded it. Now what if to draw the line in the table we have to apply some styling. Let's apply the styling for the table and table data as let's have a border of 1 pixel solid black, and we'll have padding for the table data element, padding some 5 pixels, and let's save it and we'll have a look. So see here, now we have a border for the table. So if you want to collapse the border, then we have to say we have a border collapse property, border collapse, say collapse. If you collapse it, then the border will be collapsed and we have a nice table in here. And if you want to give some headings, then instead of table data tag we have a heading is also a row, but instead of td we have a th tag, which is table heading. So let's say this is beverages and cost. So let's save it, refresh. Yeah, now we have a heading for these two tables, and yeah, we will apply the same style for header as well, and thtd, refresh it. Okay, now we have a nice table in here, and we also have some elements called t head, t foot and t body to define the header and footer and body of the table elements. You can try that out. And next let's go to forms, HTML forms. So the syntax for the form is we have a form element with close and starting of form tag. So inside form we can have many input types. So you have seen like sign up form or some other forms in web browsers, where we'll have our names and some submit button and age, something like that. So now we will see about some input types here. Input type equal to sorry, input type equal to text, and placeholder. So the placeholder attribute will denote what is that. So we'll also we have a label tag to have a label. So we have a label called name, and we have input text. So let's refresh it. So we have a form here inside which we have a text here. So you can type in some text in here, which is our name, and then let us have label gender, label, and we'll have input type. We have a radio button. So let's, the type is radio for radio button, and value equal to mail, and we have another radio called female. Let's put this in paragraph tags so that these are inline elements. So if you put it in paragraph tags, then we have a line break there. We will be having a line break, so we will include this in a paragraph. Okay, so now let's refresh. So we have a gender here, and then we have to give some name for it, male, and female. Yep. So now you can select both the radio buttons to, but ideally, like, we should select any one of them. So for that we have to give a name for this radio button so that it can recognize that it belongs to a cluster. So we will say here it's the name of the radio is gender, and same here, name of the radio is gender. So now you can select only, either one of them will be selected. So the next thing is we will see about checkbox. Again, like, we will have a paragraph element, and I'll label, say, age greater than 18, label, and we have input type as checkbox, and by default we can make it checked using checked attribute. And yep, so let's save it and refresh. So it's, by default it is checked. If you want, you can able to uncheck and check it again. And the next thing is you can have a input type email. This is a HTML5 input type. The email input type has been introduced in HTML5. So we'll say label email, and input type equal to email. And we can, so let's refresh it. So we have an email in here, text in here, and then let's have a password thing. So we'll say password, label, and input type equal to password, and finally we'll be having a submit button, input type. So input type if we give submit, then we'll have a button called submit. So on clicking on this button, like, it will submit the form to the server. So okay, we'll have the paragraph tag. So yeah, so if we submit it, it is submitting to the same page, but we don't have any server side scripts to validate it. And yep, and there are more input types which has been introduced in HTML5, like color, number, date, and more attributes such as min attribute, max attribute, disabled, read only. So for example, if I say this as disabled, and if you refresh the page, so see, it is disabled. And we can also have a read only attribute, so which is read only, but you can't edit it. And let's see what if we put required. So it's saying the form, this is required, so please fill in this form. So the required attribute in HTML5, it will automatically validates the form, and then it will throw some corresponding error. So that is the required attribute. And let's see another input type, number. Like, we'll be having it in the paragraph tag. So input type is number. And let's say the minimum value for the minimum attribute, which is HTML5 attribute, minimum value is 0, and the maximum value is 100. And let's say the step by which it will increase is 10, so that it will go from 10, 20 to 30, and then up to 100. So we'll give a step, and we'll say that some default value is 50. Yeah, let's see what's happening. Yeah, we have a number, so it's having a step of, so the minimum will be 0, and then the maximum will be 100. So this is a number. And we also have input type is date. So let's see what happens. So now you have a beautiful date selector in here. You can select some date. So, and similarly you have input type called color, wherein it will allows you to choose a range of colors from the color box. And we have much more input types and attributes which has been introduced in HTML5. And the other thing I want to show you is we have a field set. So for example, let's enclose all these things in a field set tag. And we also something have a legend tag, which will give a name for the field set, legend tag. And let's say is personal info, and we'll see here what happens. Okay, so now if you inspect and see, it will be enclosed in a field set, and then we have a legend tag here by name with the name of info. So now, and other thing is we have the data list. So for to have a data list, we should have an input of type input of type input, and then the list attribute is so for which we'll have a list as an input, and its name is some ABC, and then we have to create a data list tag with the same ID ABC, and then we have to close the data list tag and inside which we can have options. So let's say option value equal to some Maruti, and then let's say Maruti, and then we'll close the option tag. Let's copy and I'm say this as Benz. Yeah. So now if you refresh, I'm having a list here, data list here. If you type Maruti, it will show you Maruti and Benz. So instead of drop down, we can have the data list also, which is helpful. If you have a bigger drop down, then the user can type it up so that it can show the appropriate or recommended options that needs to be selected. And also the other thing you can do is here you can enclose this in a select statement. So if for some reasons if the data list tag doesn't work in the old browsers, then it will fall back to the select, which is a drop down. And if you refresh again, the same results. Yep. And yeah, we also have something called opt group and much more. And regarding forms, we have some attributes called autocomplete. By default it is on, so we can set it to off so that the browsers will not show the autocomplete settings. And we also have an attribute called no validate, which means like the form will not be validated. So previously we have seen if we give required here, the form has been validated to fill it up. But if I say no validate and if I submit, it will not validate. But if I remove this no validate attribute, then the form will be validated to ask to input that field. And other thing we have is like action attribute. The action attribute tells the form to which place it needs to be submitted. For example, my server dot php or asmx, wherever it is. So it is a server path to which the form will be submitted and will be receiving the output. So that's it for this video, and the next video we will learn about HTML media, that is video and audio tags. Thank you.